professor, physician, epidemiologist. I am Dr. Sri Banerjee. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy at Walden University. Um, I'm going to be going over a paper on the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. Now, you might be asking the question why I am going over somebody else's paper when I have done so much research myself in this data set and even in this area. And the reason being is that this paper specifically has some composite indices which may be interesting to people. And this, I'm going to show you the process of kind of how I look at different techniques and what are some of the things that I look for when I'm trying to conduct my own study. So I usually go back to if I want to for instance, do some work in colorectal cancer. I'll try to see what type of indices were used, and accordingly see if something that's replicable or something similar or something that hasn't been necessarily studied before can be. According to this NHANES study, patients or individuals, respondents were asked if they were diagnosed with colorectal cancer and if it was within the last 5 years, then the individuals were included as cases, and then those individuals that actually had no prior cancer were controls. Now, if there was cancer in any other organ, these individuals were excluded from the study. And all of this is actually included within the procedure and the method section of the study. So let me show you kind of how I go through this. And this is a kind of catchy to me, the fact that colorectal cancer is the third leading cause. Now, of course, this varies, and currently there's other causes of death, primary cause of death. But then this is a significant priority, and obesity is a strong risk factor. So that's one area that you might be looking into. But here's where the exclusions, what I was telling you about, and there's several others with pregnancy, and then age being a factor. And then there was this tool, the HOMA tool, Homeostasis Model Assessment Tool. And this equation, fasting insulin times fasting glucose divided by 405. So the HOMA-IR and the TG-HDL ratio were used. So they could have just used specific ones, but instead they used composite indices. So then you can kind of look at the descriptive statistics in Table 1. This is all the univariate analysis. Technically bivariate analysis too, because the p-value results are in the final column. And then Table 2 goes into some of the additional univariate analysis. And then Table 3 goes into some of the adjusted percentages and whatnot. So these are all univariate analyses that were conducted. And so there were, and then multivariate linear regression models adjusting for age, gender, race, ethnicity were run as well. So that's kind of in a nutshell, the findings. And when I'm looking at the methods, as you saw, I spent a lot more time in the introduction methods rather than looking at the results because I was more interested in what they did and the type of study. This was a case control study, and how they designated the cases and controls rather than what the findings were. Kind of looking at the exclusion criteria as well is important. So that's all the different components of this. Thank you for listening.